All right, guys, welcome to another lesson. As always, we're going to jump right into it. So let me open our shared screen for Ingu, where we read our articles from. As I always mention, you can come and read more articles here by yourself if you'd like, or come and sign up. I think they offer one-on-one lessons and all of these things for people. So have a look there. All right, so let's see. What are we going to do? Let's start with over here at the bottom. We'll do this one. So first, space tourist plans trip around the moon. Okay, so let's see what do we have here. As always, we'll start with vocabulary. Again, I'm going to read it first. Hit pause, read the words out loud afterwards, and also make sure you understand the meaning. If not, just type it in Google, you'll get it. So first one, sign up to agree to become involved in an organization, event, etc. More than 100 people have signed up to help clean the beach over the weekend. Next one, joy, a feeling of great happiness. Their faces filled with joy when they started opening their Christmas presents. Our next one, spacecraft, a vehicle that can travel into and through space. Russia's Luna 10 was the first spacecraft to orbit the moon. Next one, we've got option, something that has been or can be chosen. We have two options. We can either go to the party or stay home and watch TV. Orbit, to travel in a curved path around a larger object in space due to its gravity. There are 8 planets orbiting around the sun. Our last word, end up, to reach a particular place, state, condition, etc. We only went to the cafe for a cup of coffee, but ended up staying for hours. Okay, so let's go right to the article then. As always, I'm going to read it first for us, and then you can stop it either after each little paragraph or line and read it, or you can wait till the end and read everything at once. But remember, you have to read it, you have to say the words, you have to speak, pronounce, get the tongue used to the movements. Okay, so the world's first space tourist wants to go back. Only this time, he has signed up for a journey around the moon on Elon Musk's Starship. For Dennis Tito, 82, it's a chance to experience the joy of his 2001 trip to the International Space Station, ISS, once more. The date of the trip hasn't been decided. Starship, made by Musk's SpaceX company, isn't ready yet. Tito's week-long trip will bring him within 200 kilometers of the far side of the moon. He won't be alone. His wife, Akiko, and 10 others with a few $1 million in their bank accounts will join him. Tito won't say how much he's paying. He's actually the second billionaire to make a Starship reservation for a flight around the moon. Japanese businessman Yusaku Maezawa, who has also been to the ISS, announced in 2018 he was buying a whole flight. It's now more than 21 years since Tito became the first space tourist paying to go up on a Russian spacecraft. Tito said his contract with SpaceX, signed in August 2021, includes an option for a flight within 5 years from now when he would be 87. But if I stayed in good health, I'd wait 10 years, he said. He doesn't see age as a reason to keep his feet on the ground. In 1998, John Glenn, who was the first American to orbit the Earth in 1962, became the oldest person to do so. He was only 77, said Tito. He was just a young man. I might end up being 10 years older than him. Right. So let's have a look at our 3 questions. These are questions related to the article, so I'll read through them, try and answer it, try and remember what we just read, and then we'll go back and have a look. Question 1. When did Dennis Tito visit the ISS? Number 2, how many people will join Tito on his trip around the moon? And number 3, when did John Glenn become the oldest person to orbit the Earth? Oh dear, I might have trouble with these ones. When did Dennis Tito visit the ISS? Man, I already forgot. My short-term memory is killing me today. I think it was early 2000s, late 1990s. Let's say 2002. I'm going to say 2002. How many people will join Tito on his trip around the moon? I think they said 10 people, right? Or him, his wife, and 10 people, or 10 people in total. I don't remember. Oh dear. When did John Glenn become the oldest person to orbit the Earth? I think he was the late 90s. He might have been the late 90s. Ooh, I'm not doing well with this one. Let's have a look quickly. When did Dennis Tito first visit the ISS? Um, Dennis Tito, joy of his 2001 trip to the International Space Station, early 2000s. Yeah. How many people will join him? So they said he won't be alone. His wife, Akiko, and 10 others. So it'd probably be 12 people in total. Yeah. And when did John Glenn become the oldest person to orbit the Earth? And, well, that was here towards the end, right? 1998, the late 90s. John Glenn was the first American to orbit the Earth in 1962. That's it. That's it. All right. It's okay. I got it, kind of. Did you get it? Did you understand? Well, let's go right on then to our discussion questions. First one, what are your thoughts on Dennis Tito's plans to go on a trip around the moon? Again, I'm going to answer them first, or you can hit pause now. You can answer it first and then listen to my answer. Either way, try and answer with each question, either before or after me. So, what are my thoughts? Yeah, great. Why not? You know, especially if you have the money and if you're that old, what are you going to do with the money? You know, you can maybe give it to charity or something, but again, if you spend the money on SpaceX, if you buy, you know, that money ends up going to employees of SpaceX. You know, those people also get paid. They also have jobs and they spend the money somewhere else. So the money, you know, it will eventually spread everywhere. So why not go for it? Would you buy a ticket for a Starship moon flight if you were a billionaire? I don't know if I I don't know how much a ticket is. I mean, I would definitely want to. If somebody gave me a ticket, I would 100% I would go. But even if I had a lot of money, it depends how much it cost. Um, but I would love to go. Let's put it like that. If I were given the chance, I would love to go. I don't know if I would buy a ticket, even if I were a billionaire. If they told me it's like, how long did they say it was? A 10-day trip or 10 days? That's quite, I don't know. It depends how much it is. Number 3, what do you imagine it would be like to spend a week on a spacecraft? I think it must be amazing. That must be such a unique experience. I would absolutely love it. I would love it. Um, yeah, there would be so many things that would be interest. Everything you do right now, from eating, would be different. And you know, even if you eat boring food, it's going to be like, wow, look at my food floating, and drinking water, just a water bubble, and you suck it out of the air. The simplest things would be quite amazing. Going to the bathroom would be weird, but still interesting, you know, taking a shower, brushing your teeth. Then, not to mention looking out into space, floating, everything would just be amazing. Yeah. Number 4, do you think tourism will become commonplace within your lifetime? I think it will become commonplace for the extremely wealthy. It's not going to be commonplace for us common folk, as they say. Um, yeah, I think it will be commonplace for very rich people, but not for everybody. Unfortunately, I would love, maybe in the next generation or two, it might become commonplace for everyone. Number five, if you met someone who had been to space, what would you ask them? Uh, I don't know. What would you ask them? Like, how was it? Um, I would probably ask them like, what does it feel like being up there? And because I've heard some people say when they look back down on Earth, from that you can see the whole Earth. You kind of realize that, people, we kind of separate, oh, we in our countries, like, oh, there's Thailand, there's America, this is the UK, Europe, we all have our borders, but they say when you're out there, you don't see the borders, it's just Earth, it's just us, so you kind of become more united, or you don't see, because the way that we have the structure we have now is like, oh, this is my country and the other people, but then it's like, oh, it's the world and it's all of us, this is our place where we stay. So I've heard that before. I'd probably ask something about that. So yeah, for the discussion, number one there, who are the most inspiring older people you know? Ugh, the most inspiring older people, I don't know, maybe inspiring. It's difficult to find people. ah this might be an unpopular opinion to a lot of people, but Jordan Peterson, he's older right now, and I think he's a very inspiring person. His views sometimes, people say all sorts of negative things about him, but I think the people that say the negative things about him hasn't listened to his whole conversations, and they haven't tried to understand what he's trying to say, because sometimes if you just listen to the words might sound like ooh, but if you're trying to understand what he's saying, what's the question, and how what because they'll ask a question and he'll answer specifically to that question, and then people might say, but what about this? It's no, he answered to this specific question. There are other aspects to everything, so if you have to be understand the bigger picture, understand what he's answering. But he's extremely inspiring. So yeah, he's a great person to listen to as well. Can get good advice from him. Um, Number two, do you know any older people who are young at heart? Older people who are young at heart. I know my boxing coach. He passed away now. He passed away a couple of years ago, but he was old. Obviously, he was in his, I think, 70s when he. No, yeah, he celebrated his 70th birthday. Was the last one that we had together. Um, but he was young at heart. He was still training people to do boxing. He was going to the bars and clubs with all the younger people, and yeah, very nice guy. Young at heart for sure. All right, number three, what are the most exciting experiences you've had? Oh dear. I've had a lot of very exciting experiences in my life. I've been very fortunate. To pick out one would be crazy. I've had many great experiences and exciting ones, so I wouldn't be able to pick one. Yeah. Number four, what activities or experiences are on your bucket list? Again, there's so many. I still love to do skydiving. I still love to go in a hot air balloon. I'd love to go see the Northern Lights. There's so many things that I still want to do and see. Number five, have you fulfilled any lifelong goals or dreams? Fulfilled. Um, well, I'm in the process. When I got when I got cancer a few years back. Um, I At that point I was working extremely hard. I was, just working, money, money, money. And then when I got that, it's kind of like, what are you doing? You have this one life. This is all you have. And after that, I kind of decided to change. Don't just live for money. You should work, you should earn money, you should take care of your family, but focus on experiences. So now I'm working a lot less. I don't earn as much as well, but I do things. I've started cooking recently. I love cooking. That's one of the things we all have to do it, and you might as well make it a pleasant experience every time. So I really enjoy that. I love exercising and doing things that I wanted to do when I was younger. I did some theater acting a few years back. I still love training. I love building things. I just built a pizza oven because I love pizza. Doing all sorts of things that, I don't know, just living life and not just work, 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 work. Some people enjoy that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that's a thing you shouldn't do. Some people find a lot of joy in their job, so then work all you like. But yeah, that's just me. So I'm in the process of fulfilling a life full of experiences. All right, well, that is it. So let me just stop sharing this one. And yeah, that's it for this lesson. And yeah, you keep practicing, keep working at it. If you want to improve your English, you have to speak out loud. So even if you don't have somebody to have a conversation with, you find some questions and just answer the questions in a way that you would if you were speaking to somebody. So you have to speak out loud. Don't just imagine like, oh, you think about, I'll say this or that or that. You have to actually say it. You have to make the sentences. And then do all sorts of other everyday things in English. Read articles in English or watch English television. Anything that you normally do, just do it in English. All right. So that's it then. Have a good evening, day, morning, wherever you are. See you next time. Bye bye.